We've got an update from Mr. Donald Trump on what's going on between him and Bibi Netanyahu. Ceasefire deal. Let's take a look. It's a very short clip. I'm Tall, the traveling clad, your favorite Zionist prince.
Back on Iran, did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to...
By the way, guys, subscribe to the channel right now if you can, because we're trying to get to 500,000. It really goes a long way to help us.
Last week?
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did. Next question, please.
Just last on sanctions.
I did, yeah.
If Senate Republicans want to push
It's not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
What exactly did you tell him? Did you
I just said I don't think it's appropriate. We're having very good discussions with him, and I said I don't think it's appropriate right now. Because if we can settle it with a very strong document, very strong, with inspections and no trust. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. So no trust. I want it very strong where we can go in with inspectors. We can take whatever we want. We can blow up whatever we want, but nobody getting killed. We can blow up a lab, but nobody's going to be in the lab, as opposed to everybody being in the lab and blowing it up, right? Two ways of doing it. Yeah, I told him this would be inappropriate to do right now because we're very close to a solution. Now, that could change at any moment. Could change with a phone call. But right now, I think they want to make a deal, and if we can make a deal, save a lot of lives.
You know, Trump has taken this stance recently of trying to save and preserve as much life as possible. I guess you can't say now. He's been doing this kind of since the election, but is it me, or does the beginning of this audio kind of sound a little deep faked? Is it just me? It kind of sounds a little fake, right?
Sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did. Next question, please.
That sounds a little weird, right? It doesn't even sound like Trump. It sounds a little strange. I don't even know how to explain what I'm hearing. It sounds a little weird.
Sanctions.
I did, yeah.
If Senate Republicans want to push
It's not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
I can also see by the way he has answered this question, just the body language, and not that I'm an expert in body language by any means, but it does feel like him and Bibi are not 100% on the best terms. Again, they've had this before. They have a weird relationship. They always have had a weird relationship, and it kind of looks like things may have degraded a bit between the two of them. Just like look at the way he's responded
exactly
a little
did you
bit.
tell him?
He seems a little pissed.
It's not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
What exactly did you tell him? Did
I
you
just said
caution?
I don't think it's appropriate. We're having very good discussions with him, and I said I don't think it's appropriate right now.
So for those of you guys not in the loop, essentially Israel has been preparing a strike on Iran because the talks between the U.S. and Iran have been taking so long, and it just seems like Iran is playing the U.S. Look, Trump has this belief that somehow they're going to be able to come to a deal, but the IRGC can't be trusted in any way, shape, or form. And he's saying they're not going to be trusted. There's going to be sanctions, and they're going to go in and they're going to blow up labs if they need to. The thing is, and this is what we talked about, if Trump kicks this can down the road, we're going to be right back to square one very soon. Like, after his cycle, you know, the IRGC will sit back, they'll earn a bunch of money, and then when it's over, especially if a Democratic president gets in power, it's going to be October 7th again. It's going to be worse. They're going to embolden their proxies, and they're going to go back to exactly what they were doing before. Nothing will change. This is an evil that the world needs to get rid of, probably by military power or heavy sanctions. But the thing is, Trump it's pigeonholed to his base, who will not allow him to do this. And that's always been the catch-22. We've been talking about this for a long time. His base will revolt against him if he does military action against Iran. So it genuinely seems like the only option right now is talking. I can't remember I think I was listening to the PBD podcast, to the Valuetainment podcast the other day. And he actually, Patrick Bet-David brought up a good point, which was, I think in a perfect world, the U.S. allows Israel to strike Iran, but says you're on your own on this one, and just lets Israel sort what it needs to sort out on its own. Because at this point, I don't believe we can really trust 100% the United States to have our back in this particular matter. And this particular matter doesn't press U.S. citizens the way that it does Israeli citizens, and actually everybody living in the Middle East. The IRGC is the Islamic regime of Iran is a danger to all of us living in the Middle East. Every single one of us. It's a danger to people in America too. They just don't feel it. They don't feel the urgency right now. So I think in the perfect world, the U.S. just kind of allows Israel to do what it needs to do and turns a blind eye to it. At the very least, just says, hey, we're not involved in this particular thing. But it's kind of unfair because no matter how we want to go ahead and defend ourselves against Iran becoming a nuclear power, which has threatened to wipe us out, we're going to be criticized by the world for doing that. So it really is, in this particular case, a very, very unfair scenario to be in because we're kind of being pigeonholed to not be able to protect ourselves. And it's a serious issue. So I'm not happy to see this, but we have been speculating on Donald Trump, Bibi, Iran for 3-4 months now, right? Since he's gotten into power. We're almost 6 months after the election. We're getting to that halfway point, and not much has progressed. So is Trump going to be a do-nothing president that doesn't actually get anything done? I don't know. I honestly don't know to tell you at the moment. I, again, have faith in his plan. I have faith in him because he's shown to be able to do the work. I think the Abraham Accords are feeling a little further away than possible at the moment. Maybe something that will come towards the end of his term. But yeah, it's to be seen at the moment. There's a lot on the table and a lot going on, and everything is very dynamic. So let's see what happens. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, Klats. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.